Hello there everyone, it's Heather Price here from Shamanic Path and Practice. Finally, I made a Sunday sunset live. I've been trying so hard to find the time for this. It's been quite a year this year and very enjoyable in many ways for me. I've had some wonderful opportunities these last few weeks to gather with friends and family and do some great things. So I'm not complaining, but I am aware that I've not been able to be here as often as I'd like, and I'm trying to do something about that, maybe in a slightly different way in the near future. But for now, let's come back to now and prepare ourselves for a shamanic drum journey. And the way I usually do it is either through the cards or just reflecting on something that's going on in my life that I think might be relevant for you as well. And I think I'll just do a bit of both of that again, as I usually do, because I've just spent a lot of time writing in the last few days. Those of you who subscribe to my newsletters will have received the newsletter by now under this new moon. We just had a new moon, still have a new moon in Aries, and I usually write about that in my Moon Musings page on my website. But I also write a newsletter around the same time, just because the energy is really potent for me during moon times, and I seem to go inward, and I want to write, I feel the urge to write. So I spent all day yesterday writing, and I think all day Friday writing. Yeah, so, and today I've been writing as well, in maybe a slightly different way, writing up a project that I'm about to launch with someone, and researching, do lots of researching. And it's really, reflective of this time as well, with Aries helping us to perhaps take a little bit more action than we might normally take. And I've done quite a bit of that, as well as, taking action on things that I've planned for some time, as well as planning. The thing about this moon is that it's in the house of home and family, in the 4th house, and it's also, the moon itself is guided by Cancer is guided by the moon, so the zodiac sign of Cancer. So we can look at that as well, and that's all about home and nurturing. So even though Aries is the fire energy, Cancer is the water energy, we could put those two together and have steam. It could be a steamy time for you this month. However, if you bring in the earth energy, that daily practice and grounding, presence each day, then it will make all the difference. And that's what I keep telling people. The theme that came up sort of through the moon energies, but also just through what was happening around me, and then I looked up the moon and I thought, well, it sits perfectly here, is that when we have this emotional kind of energy for Cancer, I'm actually a Piscean, which is also very watery. When we have a lot of heart energy, and we're empaths, we love to take care of other people. That's something that I've always loved to do ever since I can remember. Even when I was a little girl, I used to be the one that people would ask to look after their children because I loved children, or I just front up and do it. My mother and father used to regularly attend tennis parties and have parties at home. I lived in the country, that was very normal on the land. And I would put my hand up to be the babysitter. And later, when I went away to boarding school for my higher education, because I couldn't actually get to school any other way at that time, I immediately started looking after other people who needed a bit of comforting, they were homesick, and then over the years I was renowned for that, and people used to come in and sit on the end of my bed. Younger people would come, and I'd give them sort of like my time and listen to them, and they called me Mother. Funnily enough, that was my nickname. So I became a prefect in my final year, looking after the first year ones in high school. We had different, it was first year, not grade, it would be grade 7 or 8 or something now. And yeah, so, or grade 9, not sure. Yeah, so anyway, I was there for them, and I used to look after them. So I have that natural nurturing energy, and I noticed that that's changing a little bit. It's sort of, I've been running with the theme, is this mine to carry, Heather? You know, is this yours to carry, Heather? I'd say to myself, because you can easily become a rescuer when you're in service or when you love to look after people. And that's sort of where I headed for a long time. I realised that, you know, I was kind of lately, I had a lot on my plate looking after other people in my family. And I love to do that. It gives me great pleasure, but it's not always the best thing for me. And there has to be a balance, and there has to be a middle ground. So I was writing about this, you know, and I've put it through the pages here. You've probably come across it if you regularly check in. And then I did a really big, deep dive in my newsletter, and I realised, you know, so many people haven't subscribed. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, but if you do, you get the deeper kind of reflections that I offer as well. So I do encourage you to do that, because I put a lot more information on there that could be relevant to you. And I don't spam, at least I don't think I do. I put 2 newsletters out a month. Do you think that's spamming? And sometimes they're very short. This last one was particularly long. Yeah, and I do get feedback. You know, people tell me they enjoy. I get a little bit of feedback. Don't get a great deal of feedback, but the analytics show that people do download the newsletters. So I hope they're being read. Yeah, but anyway, that really got me thinking, and I want you to think about it. Is this yours to carry? Great sort of punchline, I think. And I want you to look at that when you know, because it's not an immediate yes, or you might have that habit of saying yes straight away, but come back for a moment, take a breath, have a pause and think, well, is there a middle ground here? And I've done a lot of that lately, and I'll tell you what, it's easing up my load. And I've just been easing back and offering a little bit less than what I would have offered once, and still very fulfilling and still, you know, very useful, whatever I'm offering, but reserving more energy for me and my projects and my things that bring me great joy and love. So that's really what I think this moon's about. It's about the strong Aries energy that allows you to have that assertiveness, that sense of, you know, like, take care of me so then I can take better care of others. I mean, we all know about that. But actually feeling okay about that, you know, and Aries can be very domineering, can be warlike, it can be very defensive, but we don't go in with that attitude, you know, at all. Just observing like the hawk, having a hawk-eye view of everything, observing what feels good, what's right for you, where the balance is, and then the stag being assertive enough, but also being incredibly gentle. Stags have got a really gentle, that deer energy, that coming from your heart nature. Anyway, you can read all about it in my last newsletter, but unfortunately you don't get that one if you're not subscribed. Having said that, I do intend to put my, you know, these talks on YouTube from now on. I've been doing that just so they're more accessible for people, and also on my blog. So that's a lot about me. I hope that's okay. Now, let's think about this journey that I'm going to take you on, and let's turn to the daily co-creation cards, because they're always spot on. Time is passing, Heather. Thank you for joining me. I can see you. I can see quite a few beautiful people in there. And oh, you know what happened to me? I have to tell you, these are my new prescription glasses, right? And they're Elton John design. I quite like them. But I got them at Specsavers, you know, which is a great place for glasses. And they're not quite right. I have to take them back. But you know what? I lost them for about 2 weeks recently. And I knew they were in the car, but I also had a look a few times in the car, And my guides told me they're in the car, but I didn't really take the time to have a proper look until a few days ago because I had other glasses and I had other things to do. And finally I went to look after my grandchildren on the weekend, and I had to get some things out to make room for them in the car. And then I noticed that they'd slipped down the side of the door, but you couldn't see them. They were just sitting underneath the seat. And I had looked under the seat, but I'd missed them. Anyway, I was delighted to find them. And at the same time, I found something else in the house that had been missing. And it was a little bit like, my guides often take my glasses, like I feel like they do. They hide them when I need to look at something, which caused me to look more at, am I carrying too much for other people? And I was also bitten by a March fly. I was out bush last week. I think it was Sunday. Or was that yesterday? I lost track. What's today? Today is Sunday. Last Sunday, I was out playing my drum in ceremony for a dear soul who lost her life. She'd fallen off my mountain where I go to do my a lot of my sacred work, and the mountain was really sad, and all the trees were sad, and the forest was sad, and my beautiful ceremony sister of that particular country was away, and I knew she would love to have been with me for this particular journey, but I went anyway and played my drum to the mountains and to the trees, and I could feel them lightening up, and everything was beautiful. But in the meantime, there was a March fly biting my leg. Oh my goodness. And I'd been researching March flies because I had this kind of a bit of a debate with one of my sons about whether they harm you, and he was adamant they don't, but I found out that they can, and that was a while ago. But anyway, this March fly bit me, and of course fly medicine is about persistence, and it's about really pushing and getting what you want and just going for it, which is similar to Aries energy. But at the same time, you can do harm that way. The fly harmed me, hurt me. I've still got a great big, beautiful big bruise on my leg to remind me just to take things steady. And so I have been, much more so. I really did listen. Listen to my guides, listen to the teachings, stopped and thought about, do I push through? Do I take time to rest? Or do I just simply enjoy and love being in service, or just sometimes I push myself past my comfort zone? So I've been thinking about those things. I want you to think about those things, because whatever happens to me is also, you're here listening to me. So take that bit of wisdom home with you, because you don't want to be like me, to lose your glasses and be bitten by a fly to get the message. Fly medicine can be quite good too, because it does give you that bit of extra energy to push through obstacles. And I have to tell you, gee whiz, have I pushed through some things lately. I'm doing things that I've had on the back burner for a long time, and it's really paying off. So maybe that's what the medicine was giving me as well. Like it did actually get me to complete things, and I did them lovingly without pushing though. I just remembered not to hurt, not to harm myself in the process by staying up too late or giving too much. Are you listening? Are you listening? If you're there, this is for you. And let's have a look what the cards say. And also I've realised, when you get off here and when you go home, or when you're at home, when you turn this off, I want you to really turn it off. I want you to sit quietly and reflect on what you've heard today, and take a few notes, please, and set a few goals. I set goals every day pretty well, or I set major goals every Friday morning that I look at every day when I have my coaching session with my co-coach. And it's good, I want you to start your daily practices. If we're all going to get through this time, we've got to rein back how much we give, how much we worry, how much fear we put into our day, and take some time out for joy. Take some time out for love. Take some time out to sit with peace, sit in nature. Set yourself some tasks of self-care. Can you do that? Thank you. Battery's fading here. Probably because I haven't plugged it in. That will help. Goodness me, Heather. That's sort of a metaphor too. Remember to plug your battery in to spirit. Plug your battery into spirit. First card that comes out is leadership. Yeah? So leading the way in self-care. When you are a leader, when you are a light worker, when you are a light weaver, a light warrior, you are a leader. Okay? We're all here in leadership at this time. Our soul has incarnated at this time on purpose. You all know that. So do your daily practices. The action is generosity. Oh, goodness me. I generously share my energy with the people I love. It's almost the opposite to what I've just been talking about. It's okay to do that too. You know, it comes back to joy. How much joy can I create today in my giving rather than feeling obligated? Change the perspective around it all. Change the intention and the attitude, okay? And what comes from that leadership and being generous with that attitude is wellness. So rather than having an attitude of, you know, I'm giving too much or it's painful to give so much, be generous in the giving, but also be generous to yourself. Have the balance. And the gift that you'll receive back is love. You will feel loved when you're well. When you're well, you always have more. Oh, the bottom card's always most important, and I forgot to draw it from there, but I was heading that way, wasn't I? Joy. I just said that a minute ago. That's the most important card in the pack. That's the outcome and the gift, or the key. It's actually the key, the final card. So one of the 8 ways he lay out, which is how much joy can I bring to the world today? Be generous when you're really, you know, lead the way with joy and generosity. When you feel well, and to feel well, you need balance, right? So I hope I've got the right message across to you today. I'd love to have your comments in the chat. Love to read them. You can also write to me if you wish. You'll find, you know, my message page there. Okay, that's enough talk. Time to play the drum. Here we go. I've got a few events coming up, by the way, but I'll talk more about that next time. Keep an eye on my page. I've been sharing a few things lately. Heading to Byron to offer a talk soon. That's on my page. The date may change. There's a lot of wet weather coming. And I'm also invited onto an online amazing event which starts on the 4th of May. Keep an eye out for that as well, to join. But for now, take some breaths. Listen to the drum. Listen to your heart drum, the heartbeat. Feel it in your feet. Connect to Mother Earth. Connect your heart to the heart of the Divine Mother who gives and gives so generously. Feel that connection with her beautiful energy of unconditional love. Whenever I get to this point, I always feel like singing. It just sort of wells up inside of me. And if it wells up inside of you, have a good sing-along. Let your spirit take a journey down a corridor of time and space until you come to a wooden door that you'll open. Walk through that door. Close it behind you. Finding yourself on an earth pathway now. The earth is damp beneath your feet. It's cool, a little bit damp and cool. Feels good. It is the earth energy that brings the balance. If you can't get outside, take the journey in the inside with me now. Notice that there is a huge body of water on the left-hand side. It's so beautiful. Flowing, full and overflowing. Like the energy of your heart. Like the joy that you have in your heart ready to share. Overflowing joy. There are wildflowers wherever you look, spread across the country, right across. And you give thanks for the country that you're on. Just hearing that word brings me back to remembering. What country do you live on right now? You remember, you know. Acknowledge the tree that you love. Acknowledge the mountain that you love. Connecting now to the country that you love. Country as in all the creatures, the trees, the stones, the waters, the spirit of the land that you live on, or your favourite place to go. Connect there now. There's a bright light calling you to move further along the path. And so you do. You reach a point where you stop. You slow down. And you are shown, or you listen, or you imagine a few words or an image or a symbol to remind you of what you need to do more of or what you need to do less of, to bring more balance into your life right now between the fire, the giving, the action, and the water, the love, and receiving, and the earth, the grounding and tending to what's really important in your family, in your life. Self-care. What you need to do more of or less of. And listen with the drum for a few moments as you sit somewhere there on the earth, by the water. Sit and listen to the drum and the wisdom of country. Make a commitment as you listen to act, not just to listen, not just to know, but to act, to take the steps towards this that you are shown tonight or this morning, wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is. Make a promise to act, to take a step towards this, not just see it and know it, but to do it. This is what is needed for all of us. Not just to see and know, but to do lovingly, joyfully, whatever it takes. And bring that back with you, that decision, that vision, that commitment, as you turn around and walk back now with the water on the right-hand side, the field of flowers on the left. Walking back along the earth pathway towards the wooden door that you first came through. Opening that wooden door, moving through and closing it behind you. You have been shown, even if you don't realize it, it will come to you in the next day or so. If you had no experience whatsoever, trust whatever that was for you. As you walk down that corridor of time and space back into your body, stretching, moving, doing what you need to do. And if you have a pen and paper handy, write it down so you don't forget. This is what I experienced. This is what I've been guided to commit to. These are the steps I will take for that to happen. It might be something you've been putting off for a while. I have to tell you what mine was. After this, I'm going out to plant some seedlings I've had out there for a while. They really do deserve to be put into their pots, and I keep saying I'll do it tomorrow. I'm working on my procrastination, doing 3 things in the morning, 3 things in the afternoon immediately I think of them, and not putting it off for a moment longer. That's one thing that I have been putting off, and I won't put off, because today I need to do it. Yeah, and I will. So these are the sorts of decisions when we make them with love and joy. I look forward to it. I love gardening. Even though the sun has set here, there's still time, a little bit of light left. Put the joy into it. I hope you've enjoyed this drum journey and our connection. And I look forward to sharing more about these couple of events that I'll be at. It's actually one this weekend I hope to get to. But if you're interested in building on the land, just keep an eye out on my website. I don't think I've put this one out on my website yet, but I will. It is on my personal page. But I have a beautiful friend, fellow ceremony woman, Cassandra Scardino. If you have a look at her page, Resonance is the name of her. There's another word that goes with that name of her website, but it's a beautiful project that she has of building these affordable homes, and people are donating the land for her to teach people about aircrete concrete buildings, which are just little pods. And she's done all the research and the approval you can get from council. But it's great for people who want to build a little shelter on their home ground, nearby, for a family member or just to have there for whatever reason, for craft or art or your workspace. And it's so affordable what she's doing. She's doing it for everybody, so especially single mothers, those who want to build their own home. And honestly, the price is ridiculous. It's just so affordable. So look her up, and I will make sure that when I have a chance to put that on my webpage, on my Shamanic Path and Practice page as well. It's actually happening at the Central Coast, but it will be happening all around the place. She's going to be doing these every month. And Cassandra is an amazing person. She gives so much of her time and energy to community. Anyway, keep an eye out for that. I've given you lots of information today, full of information. Lots of love to you. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful week until we meet again. And look, honestly, if I go to this thing in the Central Coast, you probably won't see me. Please be patient. I'm here when I can be. And I will do my best to come on live again when I can. If it's not next Sunday, I'll do something about that soon after. Take good care. Lots of love.